He scored an own goal at the 1994 World Cup. 12 days later, a hitman stood over him in a Medellin car park and shouted the Spanish word for goal 6 times while pulling the trigger. Medellin, Colombia. Andrés Escobar was 27 years old. He was Colombia's captain, the country's most beloved defender. His teammates called him El Caballero, the gentleman. He was not a criminal. He was not a cartel member. He was a footballer. Colombia arrived at the 1994 World Cup as one of the most dangerous teams on earth. Pelé had predicted they would win it. The Colombian press had declared it certainty. The Colombian cartels had placed enormous bets on Colombia to advance. June 22, 1994, Pasadena, California. Colombia versus the United States. Colombia needed a result. They had already lost their opening match. 34th minute. A cross came in from American midfielder John Harkes. Andrés Escobar stretched to cut it out. The ball deflected off his left foot. It went into his own net. Andrés Escobar stood in the middle of the Rose Bowl pitch. He stared at the goal. The United States won 2-1. Colombia was eliminated from the World Cup. Back home in Colombia, the people who had placed millions of dollars in bets had just lost everything. Those people were the Medellin and Cali cartels. Colombian officials begged the squad to stay in the United States. They warned the players it was not safe to go home. Andrés Escobar went home. He said he had nothing to hide. He said Colombia was his home. July 1st, 1994. Medellin, Colombia. 12 days after the own goal. Andrés Escobar visited the El Indio restaurant in the Las Lomas neighborhood. He was recognized. He was approached. An argument began. Words about the own goal. Words about the money lost. Words about consequences. Shortly after midnight, Andrés Escobar walked to his car in the car park outside the restaurant. 3 men followed him. One of them was Humberto Muñoz Castro, a bodyguard for the Gallón brothers, associates of the Cali cartel. Humberto Muñoz Castro pulled out a .38 caliber revolver. He shot Andrés Escobar 6 times. After each shot, he shouted the word, "Goal, goal, 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 goal." Andrés Escobar died in the car park of the El Indio restaurant. He was 27 years old. The aftermath. More than 120,000 people attended Andrés Escobar's funeral in Medellin. The streets were lined for miles. People wept openly. People held photographs. People held his football shirt. The Colombian national team retired his jersey number 2. Humberto Muñoz Castro was arrested. He was tried and convicted. He was sentenced to 43 years in prison. He served 11 years. He was released in 2005. The men who ordered the murder, the Gallón brothers, were convicted. They served less time. They were released. They returned to their lives. No cartel leader was ever charged. Not one senior cartel figure faced a Colombian courtroom. The resolution. Andrés Escobar wrote a column in a Colombian newspaper after the own goal. He wrote, "Life doesn't end here." He wrote, "We have to go on." He wrote, "Thanks for everything, Colombia." He was murdered 11 days later. In Medellin, a statue was erected in his honor. El Caballero, a gentleman in bronze, standing with a football at his feet. 1 own goal, 6 bullets, 0 accountability for the men who ordered it. They called it the World Cup. His world came to an end.